The Lottery by Shirley Jackson is one of the most famous short stories of all time. It's especially memorable for its final paragraph. Published in 1948, this short story shocked America. Readers were horrified, angry, and deeply disturbed. Many canceled their magazine subscriptions and others sent hate mail to the author. At first glance, it seems like a simple tale about a small village gathering on a summer morning. But beneath its ordinary setting lies one of the darkest and most powerful critiques of human nature ever written. It explores the power of tradition and the dangers that come with that. In today's video, I'll go over the plot, so it doesn't matter if you've read the story. Then I'll share the literary analysis and explore the key literary elements of the story. So let's begin. The story takes place in a small rural village on June 27th. It is a beautiful summer morning. The sky is clear, the flowers are blooming, and the villagers gather in the town square for what appears to be a community celebration. Children arrive first. They laugh, play games, and collect piles of stones. Adults begin gathering as well. They talk casually about farming, weather, and everyday life. Everything seems perfectly normal. Then a man named Mr. Summers arrives carrying an old black box. The black box is used for the village's annual lottery. The villagers treat the event as an important tradition, although many of the original details surrounding the lottery have been forgotten over time. Mr. Summers calls each family head forward. One by one, the men draw slips of paper from the black box. Nobody seems excited. Instead, there is a subtle tension in the air. Eventually, all families have drawn. The selected family is the Hutchinson family. Tessie Hutchinson, one of the family members, immediately protests. She claims the process was unfair. However, the villagers ignore her complaints. The lottery then moves to a second round. This time, each member of the Hutchinson family must draw a slip. Bill Hutchinson, his wife Tessie, and their children each take a paper. When the papers are revealed, Tessie's slip contains a black mark. She has been chosen. Only now does Tessie desperately object. It's not fair, it isn't right, but no one listens. The villagers pick up the stones they gathered earlier. Friends, neighbors, and even family members join the crowd. Then, in the story's horrifying final scene, Tessie Hutchinson is stoned to death. The story ends abruptly. There is no rescue, no explanation, no justice, only silence. One reason the ending is so shocking is that Jackson deliberately misleads the reader. The setting feels peaceful, the villagers appear friendly, the children are playing, and nothing suggests violence. Readers naturally assume the lottery will bring some kind of reward. After all, lotteries are usually associated with winning. Jackson uses these expectations against us. The revelation that the winner is actually a victim completely transforms the meaning of everything that came before. The stones collected by children suddenly become terrifying. The nervous conversations make sense. The black box becomes a symbol of death. This dramatic reversal is one of the most effective twists in literary history. There are many conflicts in this story. The first one is external conflict. The primary conflict occurs between Tessie Hutchinson and the village. When Tessie is selected, she protests. However, the entire community stands against her. This conflict highlights the power society can have over individuals. The next conflict is internal. Although the story doesn't explicitly reveal the villagers' thoughts, there are hints that some individuals feel uncomfortable. People hesitate and they speak nervously, yet they continue participating. This suggests an internal struggle between personal morality and social pressure. Another major conflict exists between old traditions and modern thinking. Some neighboring villages have already abandoned the lottery. However, many villagers refuse to consider change. For them, tradition itself is enough justification. One of the reasons the lottery remains so powerful is its realistic characterization. Jackson doesn't create heroes or villains. Instead, she presents ordinary people. That is exactly what makes the story so frightening. The central character of the story is Tessie Hutchinson. At first, she appears cheerful and carefree. She arrives late to the lottery, joking that she almost forgot what day it was. Her behavior makes her seem friendly and relatable. However, Tessie's character becomes much more complex as the story progresses. Notice something important. Before she is selected, Tessie participates winningly in the lottery. She doesn't question the tradition, she doesn't protest the violence, she accepts the system as long as someone else becomes the victim. Only when she herself is chosen does she object. This detail reveals one of Jackson's most uncomfortable observations about human nature. Many people ignore injustice until they become personally affected by it. Tessie is not portrayed as a heroic rebel. Instead, she represents ordinary people who accept harmful systems until those systems threaten them directly. Old Man Warner is the oldest resident in the village. He has participated in the lottery for decades. He strongly defends the tradition and dismisses any suggestion of change. When he hears that some villages have abandoned the lottery, he calls them fools. Old Man Warner symbolizes blind loyalty to tradition. For him, the age of a custom automatically makes it valuable. He never questions whether the tradition is moral. His character demonstrates how people often defend practices simply because they have existed for a long time. Mr. Summers organizes and conducts the lottery. His name is ironic because summer usually suggests warmth, happiness, and life. Yet he oversees a ritual that ends in death. What makes Mr. Summers particularly disturbing is how ordinary he appears. He doesn't act cruelly. He doesn't threaten anyone. He simply performs his role efficiently. This normality highlights one of the story's central ideas. Terrible acts can become routine when society accepts them as normal. The villagers function almost as a collective character. Individually, they seem friendly and harmless. Collectively, they become a violent mob. Jackson suggests that ordinary people can commit extraordinary acts of cruelty when supported by social pressure and tradition. The story is told from a third-person objective point of view. This means the narrator describes events without entering the minds of the characters. Readers only see what happens externally. We observe actions, we hear conversations, but we rarely know exactly what characters are thinking. The climax of the story occurs when Tessie Hutchinson reveals the paper marked with the black dot. At that moment, everything becomes clear. The mystery surrounding the lottery is finally solved. Readers realize that the lottery is not a celebration. It is a ritual sacrifice. The climax is powerful because it completely changes our understanding of the story. It is not only surprising, but also emotionally devastating. There are many themes in this story. Number 1. Blind obedience to tradition. This is the most important theme in the story. The villagers continue the lottery simply because it has always existed. Many original rituals have been forgotten, some traditions connected to the lottery have already disappeared. Yet the central act remains. Nobody seriously questions whether the practice is right or wrong. Jackson warns readers that traditions should not be accepted automatically. Every tradition should be examined critically, otherwise, harmful practices can survive for generations. Number 2. Conformity. The villagers conform to the expectations of their community. Even if individuals have doubts, they continue participating. Why? Because opposing the group is difficult. People naturally fear social rejection. Jackson demonstrates how conformity can silence moral judgment. When everyone around us accepts something, questioning it becomes much harder. Number 3. Violence hidden beneath civilization. The village appears peaceful and civilized. The residents are ordinary citizens. They work, raise families, and maintain social relationships. Yet, beneath this normal appearance lies brutal violence. Jackson suggests that civilization doesn't eliminate humanity's capacity for cruelty. Sometimes violence simply becomes organized, ritualized, and socially accepted. Number 4. The scapegoat. The lottery creates a yearly victim. One person suffers while everyone else survives. This reflects the ancient concept of the scapegoat. Throughout the history, societies have often blamed or sacrificed individuals to preserve social unity. The lottery symbolizes this dangerous tendency. Number 5. The danger of group mentality. The villagers are far more dangerous together than they are individually. As a group, they abandon personal responsibility. Each person contributes a small part to the violence. Together, they commit murder. Jackson warns that collective behavior can sometimes override individual morality. There are also many symbols in this story. The first one and the most important one is the black box. It represents tradition, authority, and the power of the past. The box is old and damaged. Many villagers want to replace it, yet they never do. Its continued existence reflects society's attachment to outdated customs. The color black also symbolizes death and darkness. Every year, the box determines who will die. The stones symbolize collective violence. Unlike a gun or a knife, stones require participation from many people. The entire community becomes responsible for the killing. The fact that children gather the stones is especially disturbing. It suggests that violence is being passed from one generation to the next. The next generation is already learning how to continue the tradition. The lottery itself symbolizes systems of power that appear fair on the surface but produce injustice in practice. Everyone has an equal chance of being selected, yet equality of process doesn't make the outcome moral. Jackson challenges the idea that fairness in procedure automatically creates justice. Shirley Jackson is a master of suspense. What's remarkable is that she creates tension without revealing the source of danger. First, she withholds crucial information. Readers know a lottery is taking place, but they don't know why. Second, she includes subtle clues. The nervous behavior of the villagers feels unusual. The black box receives almost ceremonial treatment. The children collect stones long before their purpose becomes clear. Third, Jackson carefully controls pacing. The drawing process unfolds slowly. Names are called one at a time. Every step builds anticipation. Readers sense that something is wrong, but cannot identify exactly what. This uncertainty creates a feeling of dread that grows stronger with every page. The story contains several forms of irony. The greatest example is the title itself. When readers hear the word lottery, they expect a prize. Instead, the winner receives death. There's also situational irony in the setting. The story takes place on a beautiful summer day. Readers expect happiness and celebration. Instead, they witness a ritual execution. Even Mr. Summer's name contributes to the irony. A character associated with warmth and joy becomes the organizer of violence. The setting plays a crucial role in the story's effectiveness. Jackson deliberately chooses an ordinary American village. There's nothing exotic or unusual about the location. This choice sends an important message. The events of the story could happen anywhere. The danger doesn't come from monsters, supernatural forces, or distant cultures. It comes from ordinary people. By placing the story in a familiar setting, Jackson forces readers to confront uncomfortable truths about their own societies. Why the ending is so powerful? The ending remains one of the most famous endings in literary history. It succeeds because the true horror is psychological rather than physical. The stoning itself is shocking, but an even more disturbing realization follows. The villagers believe they are doing the right thing. They do not see themselves as evil. They see themselves as protectors of tradition. History repeatedly shows that some of humanity's worst actions have been committed by ordinary people following accepted social norms. This is the deeper horror at the heart of the lottery. The story forces readers to ask, what harmful traditions do we still accept today? What injustices continue simply because they have become normal? Many years after its publication, the lottery continues to challenge and disturb readers around the world, and perhaps the most uncomfortable question the story leaves us with is this. If we lived in that village, would we have questioned the lottery, or would we have picked up a stone like everyone else? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this literary analysis, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what do you think is the most important message hidden inside the lottery.